It is fiction inspired by fact. All liberties taken by the author are quite intentional. Enjoy.
Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Queenie for those who don't know me, and we are dabbling into the scripted world. This is a trial run. Okay? I don't really know how to do the scripted stuff, but I don't know. I really like Queen Charlotte. I really like Bridgerton, so I feel like this is a good place to start, okay? So we're reviewing Queen Charlotte, A Bridgerton Story, Season 1, Episode 1. Before I get into it, please make sure to like this video, subscribe and hit the bell, and leave a comment down below. Down below, you'll also find a link to my socials and my Discord. Please make sure to hang out with us over there. Let's jump right in. So the episode starts with Charlotte witnessing her brother basically signing her life away by making sure that she gets married to the king, unbeknownst to her.
You were chosen. This is a great honor.
Oh, how difficult was it to be chosen? Someone who can make lots of babies, someone who can read, someone with all the social graces, someone with a royal bloodline. That is all they required. It is not an honor.
Shut up! Do your duty to our country and be happy. I am sorry, but there are worse fates than marrying the King of England.
She's not a fan of the traditional wed, bed, and bread story of women of the time, and it's similar to how Kate and Eloise felt about things in the original series. Kate was the woman who was the main focus in the second season, and then Eloise was well, she's kind of a main character too. She is Lady Whistledown, the real person, Lady Whistledown's best friend. So they both have this idea of being a more modern woman, that education and intellect is more important than just being a housewife. However, Charlotte didn't really have a choice in this. Her parents had passed and her brother was in charge of her. So he decided she was going to get married and she had no say in it. It's also important to note that both Charlotte and her brother obviously come from a small province in Germany, if I'm not mistaken. So the alignment with the British Empire is basically to gain some kind of power. So I don't know what kind of deal they brokered. All we know is she's getting married to the king. There's a time jump where we now see future Queen Charlotte, and there's a death in the family. Of course, we know the king is ill, right? We know that from Bridgerton. But it's not the king who's dead. Somebody else has died.
Doctor, if the king is not dead, who is?
The granddaughter of our dear King George III and Queen Charlotte died in childbirth along with her baby. For the crown now has a crisis on its hands. After all, Her Majesty has 13 children, and now not a royal heir from any of them.
Despite Charlotte's disdain for basically becoming like an incubator, just a womb to breed children, she ended up having 13 alive and I think 15 in total, right? But you only had one heir to the kingdom. Only one. Out of 13 kids, only one made a child. Hey! Wow. She also has been so focused on creating these marriages for other families, but not her own. So none of her kids are married to people of status. And the one person who was just lost his wife and his child. Come on, Charlotte, girl. You need to do better than that. We jump back to young Charlotte, who's now being inspected by the princess. And, she's trying to be agreeable. Her brother told her, listen, be on your best behavior. She's doing her best, but the queen, along with British people in general, are very particular.
Teeth? Teeth. You have good hips. You will make lots of babies. That is good. She is very brown.
I did say she had more blood, Mum.
You did not say she would be that brown.
But I did say she had more blood.
Very brown.
It is me cackling at them arguing about how dark the future queen is. Like, Charlotte is a little bit too brown. And the reason why I'm cackling is because we saw the same, listen, art imitates life. We saw the same thing happen with Meghan and her whole thing with Harry and all that stuff. And I'm thinking, Meghan, to a lot of Black people, Meghan is white passing. So the fact that they made it such a big deal was like, are y'all serious right now? And then Meghan and Charlotte are the same complexion, if not fairer. Meghan could be like slightly fairer, but they did the same thing with even her kids. When Charlie, I think the name is Charlie, when Charlie came, they were like, oh my gosh, we're gonna have a Black baby in the kingdom. And I'm like, he's a quarter Black. It's really not that big of a deal. But in as much as it was a drama out here in the real world, it's a drama in the show as well. So the wedding is approaching, and of course, all the regular people have been invited, right? Now the wedding is 6 hours away, and because they're discovering that the queen-to-be is darker than expected, the palace now has to invite the other side to the wedding.
He said he had a surprise. Is this happened twice in one day?
I believe the surprise is why he was excited.
No, you are mistaken. Our side and their side do not mix, ever.
Listen, if I had to suffer through that scene, see, I can't even speak. If I had to suffer through that scene, so should you. That was so uncomfortable. So uncomfortable. But it was the reality for so many women back then. Anyways, the husband is very excited because, well, the Black people typically don't mix with the monarchy. So now that they're invited to this wedding, it's like, oh my goodness, doors are opening and opportunity is happening. So basically, the mission of the palace is to invite the other side. We know, I mean, the Black people, the people of color even, because I think there was an Asian woman too who got an invitation in that little montage. They're trying to invite the other side to make it seem as if the choice of bride was intentional. Of course, they didn't know she was going to be that brown, but now that that's the reality, they're saying, hey, let's just bring in everybody to make it seem like this was the plan all along. Don't be suspicious. This is intentional. Throughout the episode, Charlotte has been asking questions about the king. How is he? What does he look like? What does he do? What does he sound like? And nobody's giving her any information. There's Brimsley, who's kind of saying, you know, well, he's the king. What can you do? He's the king. And she's not satisfied with those answers. So since she's being left in the dark, she's choosing to remove herself from the wedding. And in her escape, she actually encounters the king and has a change of heart.
Hello, my lady. Are you in need of assistance of some kind?
I am quite fine, thank you. You refuse to help a lady in distress.
I refuse when that lady in distress is trying to go over a wall so that she does not have to marry me.
If I had known that you were you.
You would have what? Not told me that you were trying to escape?
Well, yes. I mean, I do apologise, Your Majesty.
George.
So her issue isn't the fact that this man isn't like ugly or mean or anything. It's the fact that she had been asking questions about her husband and nobody wanted to tell her. You know, you uprooted this girl. Unbeknownst to her, she was going to get married to somebody she's never met, does not know. And then now, as she's trying to gain information before the wedding that she clearly cannot get out of, y'all still want to keep her in the dark. She's not a fan of not being told, you know, information of what's going on around her. But anyways, George obliges in her wishes to know him more. So he's like, I'm a farmer. I am an avid fencer. He loves literature, cultural things. He's an intellect and all that stuff. And so as they're talking, he's clearly very taken by her. They have a lot of similar characteristics. And he likes the fact that she's headstrong. He didn't want somebody who is just super agreeable and just does whatever for the crown, because later on, which we'll talk about in episode 2, he does share that that's what makes him so frustrated being king. He cannot be his own person. So the fact that Charlotte is 100% who she is, regardless of the new duty that has been placed upon her, he's very fond of that. So as she's walking down the aisle, because now she's agreed to marry the man, right? The only white person who's happy to see her is her husband, and then maybe the mom. But regardless of everybody's displeasure with seeing Charlotte, they end up getting married. Now it's after the marriage that things start to take a turn, right? So her brother is starting to treat her like somebody who's not in her family anymore. And then also you have Agatha, who's now Lady Danbury, saying things that are putting some seeds into Charlotte's mind.
Take care, Your Majesty.
Adolphus?
I shall pray that you are soon blessed with children, ma'am.
Be careful, ma'am. And know that if you send for me, I shall come.
At this point, we don't really know what's going on. Like, it's clear that for Charlotte's brother, this was a business transaction. He had to do what he had to do for his own people to have some kind of power in, you know, in the land. Let's just say that and keep it pushing. But for Lady Danbury, there's something that she knows that she's not sharing as of yet, right? You can see that they're going to build a bond. Obviously, we know by watching Bridgerton, but yeah, she's warning her about something. She's warning Charlotte about something, but not really being clear. So Charlotte is also like noting that this is a woman that I can trust, or at least should confide in, because there's information that I don't know. The night progresses and Charlotte is excited to spend the night with her husband, whereas her husband would rather be anywhere else.
It is our wedding night.
And it is late. And you have been traveling. And I shall let you get inside. You will need to meet your staff. You will want to get some sleep.
No, George. It is our wedding night.
I am not going to debate this with
I
you.
merely want to understand. You need to at least tell...
I do not need to do anything. I decide. I have decided I am your king!
I thought you were just, George. Forgive me, Your Majesty.
Charlotte.
Now, where's the man from the garden? Where's the sweet, sweet man from the garden? Because you cannot tell me within a span of what? 6 to 8 hours, you've gone from Prince Charming to a tyrant? I know it's fictional, but even I was annoyed. I was like, what is this? What happened to the man in the garden? But this gives us more insight on why everybody was so tight-lipped about the king. He is quick to anger, and he gets very frustrated very easily. And it doesn't matter if he loves the girl, he just met her, but even if he loved her, there's this duty that he has to uphold that trumps every other feeling that he has. And so it has made him jaded over time. And yeah, I'm like, nah, bring the man from the garden. That man was nice. Anyways, we have another time jump to the future. Before the time jump, Brimsley is trying to comfort Charlotte, and she's like, this is so weird, like, please get away from me. Eventually she does get used to Brimsley, and he's always by her side, right? She's now talking to her 13 kids, and she's telling them, one of y'all need to have a child.
Hello, my children. Virgins to the left of me, whores to the right.
I believe I am a married woman.
You are doing it correctly. You are making sure he's putting it in the right place.
Mother!
The only heir to the throne is dead. We had one heir, one royal, and she is gone. Sorrows, prayers.
Listen, baby girl, if you have had 15 children out of your own womb with the one husband, one of them 13 who are still alive should be able to bear one child that can live a long time. Just one. We learned in the second episode. Now I'm going to say it now because there's so many notes for the second episode. I'll just put it in here. There are 50 illegitimate children from all the boys. My God, on today, 50. So the problem isn't the fact that children cannot be made. Children can clearly be made, but they're not made within the confines of a suitable marriage, okay? Because the story with the sons is that they love Catholics or actresses or, you know, around the way girls. And then the women, they have just been so aloof all this time that now they're almost too old to bear children. So yeah, it's a mess for Queen Charlotte, but she's got to figure it out or else the bloodline ends with those kids. So we'll see where this goes. I'm liking the series so far. I hope you guys are too. Like, comment, share, and subscribe if you are. And I'll see you guys in the next one.